And we are rolling. What is up, guys? This is Scott with Never Hedge. We're here with Justin from Emax.
What's going on, Justin?
How's it going, guys?
Pretty good.
Pretty good, Justin. We are holders of this super valuable coin. We're sitting up plus almost 300% since we bought in. Very nice. So before we get into it, let's why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I know one of the first things you said, Justin from Emax. So I am not Emax. we'll get that out of the way. I did not make this coin. My background is I am a financial advisor. I've been doing that now for 2008. So 13 years. I've run my own financial planning practice. My background is more in the traditional investment sense, insurance and investment needs for individual clients. Maybe more of the for the crypto world, more of the boring things: stocks, bonds, mutual funds. Right. Pretty much everything besides IPOs and hedge funds. And, most firms like that I work for don't dabble in the crypto world just yet. That's more from a compliance standpoint. It's new to them. These are old companies that have been around for 50 to 100 years. And they're trying to get around, their heads wrapped around, like, what is this crypto thing? And like, how do we do this from a compliance standpoint for our investors, and also from a suitability standpoint? How do we make proper recommendations? How do we wrap around fee structures and things like that? So, for most of my clients, I get questions all the time about crypto. And most of the time I have to say, like, hey guys, do your own research, do your own due diligence.
Right.
With it.
Right.
How I got involved with Emax, my connection to them is personally, it's just an investor. I got in really, really early. And when I mean early, like the day they launched, I was probably one of their first 30 holders.
Okay.
And it's because just over the last couple of years, dabbled in this with my own personal investments as, just seeing where the potential was in this arena. And you're going to see a lot of that happening over the next year or so. I really dived into it, into his Bitcoin over the years, like years and years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I stumbled because I like to play poker online and like to gamble on sports. And the only way for some of those online betting sites was to
same as us
or with Bitcoin. Like that was the only way to get in and out. Like was to use Bitcoin. Sometimes where I'd cash out something and I'd go back a week or two later and I'd look at it and I'd be like, damn, that $500 or $1,000 like doubled. Like what is this Bitcoin thing that I'm investing in? And at first, everybody, again, when it first came out, everybody thought it was just a joke. And you hear the call it the National Pizza Day, the story of that guy that sent off Bitcoin for like a delivery pizza, and it could be worth hundreds of millions today. So they celebrate it each day. And so like early on, every crypto, every coin goes through stages through it. And so again, that's how I stumbled upon crypto early on, was just as a conduit for behaviors, doing things that I wanted to do with it. And now you're seeing that crypto is becoming more mainstream, that decentralized platform. People want something that's not government, it's not controlled by any particular entity. They like the privacy of it. And again, not that privacy is like where you think dark web and drugs and all those other things, but it's more of just like, they don't want someone like being able to see what they're doing, and people like that.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah, I get that.
Has kind of morphed and it's grown, and particularly as an investor, really last year is where I really started diving in and taking portfolio into it, mostly because of where I see things going. See we're doing is really going to create a lot of inflation really quickly, and other currencies are usually a hedge to inflation. So you see gold or crypto; those are a hedge against inflation. A lot of money is moving into the crypto world from the other financial institutions just because of it. And I think also this last year we saw in the stock world with the AMCs and the GameStops, with Reddit, Fuel, and Hype, that there's two like avenues really in the crypto world. You can go the mainstream, go with like a state that's going to keep appreciating value, or you can go with these really risky coins,
Right.
upside potential, and also not a lot of downside protection in some cases, and they're very volatile. So there's that attractive feature, bucks into something and become a millionaire overnight, and it's happened. We've seen it multiple times with stimulus payments that came out. And there's I read an article of one of the, which again was a hype coin that Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Originally, there was no real functional value behind it.
Off Twitter, really.
Yeah, exactly. So there was real no functional value behind it, but you had the first stimulus checks that came out. One of the kids took his entire $1,200 check. You're saying money took some 20. And what's he going to put it in? Well, he puts it in crypto. When he cashed it out, it was over like $750,000. In joke. Again, we know it's a joke.
That's
That's
what brings
bills with it like an
excitement.
idiot.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So I really diving into these smaller coins, and something where you don't have to risk a lot of money and have some really upside potential. And that's where I started. I made a couple really good plays and got in early on a couple different coins that skyrocketed, and I cashed out huge chunks. And once you become like one of the early guys in those, and everybody can, you can track people's wallets and see who sells off and what we call AKA the whales, et cetera.
Right.
You gain attention then from other prospective coin developers. So I got reached out. I get messages.
And that's how you got involved with Emax?
Yeah. So I get reached out in my normal job from like, hey, Fidelity or MFS or American Funds, like, we want you to use our fund with your clients' portfolios. And then on the personal side, I'm getting DMs all the time from coin developers saying like, here's our business model. Like, this is what our coin's going to do. Why don't you take a look at it? Right. So that's how I came across Emax. I really,
awesome.
Looking at their business model, that's what got me into it. So that's my background, is purely from a financial advisor perspective.
Right. So
I am not part of the the Emax team. Happened to be there very early on, and
right place, right time, huh?
Right place, right time, exactly.
Awesome.
But again, it was their story was very compelling, and that's why I got into it.
So if you could get into that story a little bit, what excites you about that coin so much?
Yeah. So again, when you look at the crypto world, there's really two types of coins that I really would say there's out there. There's the functional or foundational coins that you hear about, the Bitcoins, the Ethereums, where they have some sort of technology behind it. They have, a corporation or something that it's actually, you can use that coin as physical currency. Mm-hmm. And then the other coins are more of the, what we've really seen lately is the community-based model, where maybe starting off that coin doesn't have any functional value, but it has a bunch of support behind it. It has people that are, looking to get into something where they're on the ground floor and they're going to market this to their friends and they're going to spread it, and it's going to grow from there. It has a real lot of upside. So again, when I originally Bitcoin by accident, I would put a certain amount every month, and I would just set it and like clockwork, put it into Bitcoin or Ethereum, and I wouldn't really look at it because I knew long term that's going to be investment. But again, even though you can get 10-12% on a daily, sometimes on a day with those coins, like these smaller coins have the upside potential of like Emax, for example, was up 500,000% in the first day. Like, what other investment can I gamble and put $100 or $200 in and get that really quickly? So
$200 for a ride on the rocket ship.
Yeah, and so like it's not like an either or. It's and I tell that to clients all the time. There's no end all or be all of investing. There's you want to diversify. So I still do the the foundational coins but I also dabble with these, smaller coins that people consider the hype coins or the meme coins out there that have
and you've had really good success with these.
Yeah, and again, there's some of them that put in, and you lose. That's the gamble with investing in anything, especially with crypto, which is very volatile.
Right.
But I did have really good success with a couple of them, and that's what led me to this next one, which, looking at their business model, I feel like they kind of bridge the gap between worlds. The coin that has functional value, and the community-based model where it's a coin that starts as a really low value and has really upside potential. I mean, there's a lot of zeros right now in that coin that need to be taken away. And so, I said, well, that to me for that. But there was a couple other things that really intrigued me about this one that you don't see in many coins. The first being, I love their rewards model. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but so you always see
but everyone might
you always see crypto. Yeah, you always hear this term hold, which is supposed to be hold. And it was, I guess, it was the backstory behind it. Some guy typed it wrong. It was a typo, and then people just ran with it. So like, if you know what hold means in the crypto world, and whenever I would hear people just constantly with these coins saying hodl, it didn't make sense to me because, again, as a financial advisor, I would look at the charts and the tech report. The chart doesn't say that this coin is going to be worth money. Like, why am I keeping my money and I want to pull money out? There was no value then for me to actually hold that coin. But with this coin, it's kind of unique in that if you're holding a position, whatever that position is, whether it's $100, every buy and sell transaction that's happening gets 2% of back to the actual holder. So it's kind of like a dividend. So like when I tell clients to invest in like blue chip stocks and they're getting dividends just by holding the position, your position is going to accumulate up and down, but your shares while you're holding it, that's really unique in the crypto world. Like, there's not many coins that do that. There's a couple of them. And so when you're seeing, $20 million, $30 million of, volume every single day on a coin like this size, that's coming back to you. And all of a sudden, if you just stayed in your position, like, you're accumulating more value just that way, while the well, so that was really unique to me. I think they're just, again, the community base to build, being more environmentally friendly, I think is another aspect of it, which we can go a little bit more into that in a second too.
Yeah, let's get into that.
Yeah, and then they also, I think also the one that attracted me too was the impact that they're going to have from a charitable giving or aspect of it too, because they have some unique ideas that they're having as far as giving away, which, again, we've seen this with other coins where you see people donating large sums of money for charitable endeavors, and it actually harms the coin. So then the investors who are in it, like, it's a detrimental impact if you don't do it the right way. And so these guys are pretty bright, and that they saw what's happened with some other coins that were trying to do that, and they're coming up with a way that they can really give back to the community in an appropriate way that's not going to harm the investors, which obviously is their biggest concern too.
That Sunday giveaway is something I had never seen before. That Twitter campaign they're doing where they're giving away $1,000.
It's really cool, and that money again is that money is coming from that 2% that's coming back. So the developers have open opportunity to buy into. The developer team actually went and bought a huge chunk for marketing and expenses incurred in running the business. And they said, we can't, from our own moral standpoint, just value in that account for no purpose. So why don't we give it back? Like, why don't we give it back to charitable endeavors? So they're coming up with creative ways on how they want to do it, whether it's a poll every week or, maybe they just pick a chair. People funds sent to them, and it's coming out of developers.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Coming out of it's not coming out of other investors' pockets, so it's not going to have any price impact on the actual shareholders' price,
Right.
which I think is really unique. So these guys are going to be giving back tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars into the community to have a I think it's really unique currency, because most of them you think of as
Sure.
it's just for personal gain, and it's just an investment.
Right.
Right.
It's going to be happening from these.
Awesome. We just saw Elon Musk ditch Bitcoin because of environmental issues. Could you get into a little bit more? I'm not sure how much you know about why
so
Emax
that
is
was
more
actually,
environmental.
that was actually really intriguing to me. I didn't know that this was really that big of an environmental issue until one of my clients brought it up. And again, I can't hold personal cryptocurrencies in any of my clients' accounts, but my clients do have investments, and as a due diligence, I give them a second set of eyes. One of my clients brought it up and said, I think I want to diverge from my Bitcoin holdings because of its environmental impact. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, I forget, I think it was like Bitcoin uses more energy to mine their coins, which again is going to go on for another couple years, fully mine the 21 million. Like they use almost as much electricity as like an entire country, like the entire country of the Netherlands. And I was like, wow, that's a lot. And
Really?
I think, and Elon, I think realized that if he's about ending fossil fuels and reliance on fossil and all those other things, you can't be relying on something that's using up that much electricity. Most of that is fueled from coal power plants. And so I looked into it a lot more and dived into it a little bit. And I think that's one of the things that separates this coin. So there's forgive me if I'm not, too much of a tech nerd with this, but I think it's
is that because nothing is mined? It's all been pre-released.
So it's with the from what I read is that there's two different types of work on a system called proof of work. So essentially,
Yes,
that's their forth to verify these transactions, whereas and that a lot of electricity. You'll see some friends, and again, I have these friends too who have mining gears in their basements where it's just like a big of things, and they're mining different coins, and a lot of the coins use that. Whereas with this coin, it uses what's called a proof of stake. So it's not going to have that same energy use that the Bitcoins or some of the other coins of the world use. So again, it's
very interesting.
Yeah,
I'm not the most like eco-friendly person, but it's behind something that isn't going to have a negative impact.
Right.
yeah, and it's not driving the price of graphics cards through the roof like the Bitcoin miners.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's good news for everyone. Good news for Emax and therefore the world.
Yeah.
So the second most popular question we got via Twitter and YouTube were regarding the white papers for Emax. Do you know anything? Do you have any news on that for the people?
I know that is like one of the highest priorities that they have right now.
Okay.
This thing has taken off and exploded. And this was kind of, they're going to be their like soft opening, but I know that is a high priority on their mind. And for those who don't know, like white pages, it's kind of a sense plan. It's kind of outlining like what are they going for from a functionality perspective? What's their marketing plan? Like what's their marketing budget? Like whether it's celebrity endorsers or corporations that they're partnering with, like how are they going to grow this? Because essentially it is a company at this point, and what are they growing that? A couple weeks, because it is a high priority, and I know these guys are working all over the place, and they're running around getting things done. multiple times, like, hey, where are the white papers? I get that question at time too. Is like, can I have something more on concrete? So that should be coming shortly. So I would say it's being worked on.
Awesome.
I don't have an exact date for you though on that.
And this is another question from Glover C. He asked, can Justin discuss the relevance of the V2 liquidity lock and what it means that it is only for 6 months, and will it be locked longer once switched to V3?
Yeah, so the super tech guy, from my understanding, is that with any new coin, you have to lock into that V2 structure for at least a period of time. So for 6 months, that's the structure that Emax will be on. After that, it will shift over to V3 and be locked there for forever.
Okay, awesome.
You got that, Kyle?
I got it. Yeah.
All right. The second most popular question I got is, were you planning on doxing yourself?
Internet issues. Talking about technology, internet issues. So the question was, when am I going to dox myself? Or
yes.
Yeah. When's the company
we're currently waiting.
themselves?
We want to send you some mail.
Gotcha.
We need the best address.
Yeah. So the company, when are they doxing themselves? So people who don't know what doxing means, it's more of like a joke. It's like, if you want to like send your politician like garbage, you can find out where he lives, and everybody exposes where that person lives, or protester or whatever it is. That we've been seeing that a lot lately, where people will dox people, and then then they're getting hate mail sent to them and things like that. I right now, because this is taken off so fast, I don't see kind of coming out public just yet, and I think that's just because their heads are down and they're running.
Right.
I don't think they have a. Sorry, I'm back again. So I keep getting kicked off. So yeah, like I said, I think they're so busy on just focusing on the business, being in the business. Right? They haven't come up with a plan on how do they roll out who we are. That'll come. Okay. Obviously, they're not going to remain anonymous forever. But I think there's just so many other priorities right now, and just figuring out their next step that I don't know if they're ready for that for just yet. So, but at some point, we'll know who they are.
All right, and the last thing I had for you, Justin, was where do you see this going, and give our investors some confidence in why you think they should still invest, even though they didn't get in on the first day like you did.
Well, again, just like with any investment, I still haven't sold a penny because I see this more. This is not a short-term play in my book. Everything
that's what we want to hear.
Again, they're not giving me specific. They've got a marketing. They're leveraging these relationships, both on the corporate and individual side, that there's going to be some exciting things coming down the pipeline. And again, I don't have any specifics for you. I'm telling people, if you didn't get in now. When clients ask me, like with crypto, I kind of joke and I'm like, there's people that own Emax, and you got to decide which one you want to be.
Love it. So, and that's coming from a guy, 13-year financial advisor.
Yeah, everything tells me that this is going to be huge.
Yes, definitely. And I think once, so do you have any idea when they will be listed on like a broader range of crypto exchanges? Because one of the things that we've been having trouble with is like some of the people that I've told to buy, they're like, okay, great. How the hell do I do this?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No.
So is there any idea when it's going to be easier to buy?
Yeah. So I definitely have some good news on that. That they've already inked deals. Their exchanges. Obviously, that costs money. That's going to be used from that pool that they made. Again, when the coins came out on the market, they made a sizable purchase up front. And I know quite about those top two wallets. That's them. That's the developers and the marketing team. And so you're going to start small pieces of that coming out. They just mentioned one of them was like a $50,000 listing on an exchange. If you want to get listed on Binance, for example, which is one of the big exchanges, it costs $1 million. So that has to be funded somewhere. And so you're gonna see in the next couple weeks, next couple days for a couple of them, there's gonna be more exchanges because they realize that Uniswap can't handle all the traffic. We've seen that now with just multiple other coins where you have issues either buying or getting out, and the complicated process, you need multiple different apps and conversions and codes and all those other things. They want this to be streamlined. Only way to make these coins, the next is to accessible to everybody. If you're having issues getting into something, if it's a complicated process and you can't figure it out, like you can't get grandma into it, like you can't get the average person into these things. And I'm feeling, I go to bed and I 7 to 8 messages between text messages, emails, personal like Facebook messages, people saying like, how do I buy? And so like I think it was great that the Emax people came up with like a step-by-step guide. It's like a little like picture. Yeah. And I just go to the photos every time. I just copy and paste that photo. I'm like, here's literally walking you through it, but it's still complicated. So the exchanges I think are going to be huge. And that's again is to get on as many as possible. But again, there's a cost around that. There's an application process. It's a time thing. Again, this was what they were considering to test, feasibility with the coin, and we're already like where other coins were 2.5 months later, and that's when those coins are starting to get listed on exchanges. They're trying to do it in it's been 3
couple days, yeah.
Move as fast as possible. It's a process.
Yeah,
nice. Yeah, and I could see that being like a little bit of a catch-22 for them, where they can't get listed onto the bigger exchanges until they have more holders, but they can't get quite as many holders as they would want until it's easier to buy.
Sorry about this, Kyle. I didn't mean to keep you that long. I didn't think I was going to get off this many times.
Oh no, I appreciate it. I'll be fine. But
like you said, the catch-22 is you need more exchanges so that you can get more people in. The more people you have, the more holders you have, the more price stability, the more long-term prospects the coin has. And so it's definitely a high priority. Again, one of those things that's like top 5 in their list of things that they're working on.
Yeah, awesome. And one of the crazy things about this coin is like yesterday I was just checking the chart a couple times, at work. And I was seeing some huge, just like a couple ETH size cells that people. It looked like people had like auto cells when it hit like 0.709, because there were a couple times that it hit that resistance point and then it dipped a little bit, but then those dips would get just gobbled up in a matter of like 10 to 15 minutes, and it'd be higher than it was. It's pretty insane. Pretty fun to watch.
With any crypto, especially ones where people get in on the ground floor. I mean, we saw like yesterday, I think it was somebody sold off $1 million. It was like the 4th largest holder out of everybody.
It was many ages. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was $1 million that came off the board, and it moved the price down a significant amount, but then it immediately bounced back and is even past that. And I think that's kind of one of the exciting pieces of this, is that there's going to be a lot of people that made out of something that's 3 days old. They made $1 million overnight.
Right. Exactly.
But I think
it's a hell of a weekend.
I think that, but I think that person's going to be kicking themselves. This thing is.
I hope so.
It's taking off.
It's exciting.
It really is, and I feel like I'm just staring at my phone constantly, not just looking at that price. It's distracting.
Refreshing. Just
looking at it.
It definitely is.
But
Well,
so
thanks for coming on, Justin. Huh?
Like you said, models out. There's
bounce back.
Price support, and there's new people coming in day by day. I think they're like 12,000, 13,000 holders. Like that's unheard of in 4 days.
Insane.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Justin, thank you so much for coming on with us. Any closing remarks for the people watching at home?
It's just, as putting my financial advisor hat back on a little bit. I think this is a great buy. But again, with any investment, do your due diligence, do your research, invest responsibly. Don't take money that you can't afford to lose. Crypto is volatile. There's going to be swings on a day-to-day basis. Like, don't take your pay tomorrow and assume that every day it's going to keep having this exponential crazy growth. This is more of don't day trade crypto. My last piece is, if Warren Buffett once said, if there's something that you can't see yourself holding 10 years from now, don't hold it for 10 minutes. And this is something that I think is going to be there 10 years from now. And put what you can, take profits as you go, lock in some profits along the way, and ride the wave.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can even sell off the 2% that you're getting from the dividend, those extra shares that you're getting, after a couple of years, sell them off. The longer you hold this thing, the more that you're going to get. Really unique asset in that regard. Yeah, I mean, I've increased my position by a couple 100 million shares in a couple of days, which is wild. It was weird that the value was going up, but then I was like, oh, the numbers are different every time I look in here. Like, what the hell's going on with that? Yeah, there was a guy, and then you clarified it for me. Yeah, there was a guy. It was a meme going around. He shared it, and I thought it was really cool. Like, he calculated the 2% that he was getting, forgetting about like the appreciation on the actual share cost, but it was like Emax was paying him something like $15 or $16 an hour just to hold his coin.
Oh shit, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
That is crazy.
All right, man. Well. Listen, thanks so much for coming on. Anytime you want to come on in the future, just let us know. We'll get you back on, buddy.
Cool.
All right, man. Take care.
I'm off the recording again, but
we'll just, thanks for coming.
We'll make it work. Thanks, man. It'll work. Just keep your browser up for us for a couple minutes.
Thanks.
Remember that.
All right, cool. I'm going to leave it up.